This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup and his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down. Michael for three. Yeah! Yes! She is gone! I don't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Bonsoir, fans des Oiseaux et des Cardinaux. Il est le jeudi 7 décembre et voici le podcast Team of Rivals. Vous pouvez nous suivre sur les réseaux sociaux sur Team of Rivals Pod. Pour ceux d'entre vous qui préfèrent regarder l'émission, nous publions également occasionnellement sur YouTube, Facebook et Rumble. Alors, cliquez sur les boutons j'aime et abonnez-vous. Et assurez-vous que les notifications sont activées afin que vous sachiez chaque fois que nous publions de nouveaux contenus. Nous rejoignons pour l'émission de cette semaine cofondateur de TOR et numéro 125 dans l'édition 2022 des Top Cards on Twitter de C70 Ron Nuttall.
We have already lost. Anybody who tuned in for like the first 3 or 5 seconds have totally misread. If they were searching for Cubs or Cardinals, they heard this and they already like, fuck, this is a French podcast. They're done. And we've just lost people. And that's it. We've just lost people.
Ron, I was doing that all for you. I mean, you were complaining about having to re-message for French, so I was trying to cover your bases.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Keep talking.
Sorry, I hit another button I shouldn't have. It was the ear button on that.
Of course you did. Hey, the winter meetings are done, Ron. And all I can say is
nobody even knew they started. Yeah, exactly.
This was terrible. Like there weren't even rumors. I mean, yes, there were rumors, but there were no rumors. Nothing happened.
My button's better for the winter meeting.
Okay.
That's exactly like it's just there were like 2 teams that made noise, I think, maybe. But this is what it is, Pete. This is what it has not sat well with me, and it traces back to the same player, and it's not rational. It's not fair to the individual, but it comes down to one name, one person, like it was years ago, that all this noise was made about. And yeah, I know he's a two-way player. I know he's the next Babe Ruth, although he hasn't even come close to Babe Ruth's numbers. Babe Ruth is... But Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Michael Lorenzen.
Oh, no, this is...
You said two-way player. I immediately thought Michael Lorenzen.
No, I mean, it's gone ridiculous again once a year. Another year we go by where it's all controlled by hype, media.
I will tell you, Ron, I think what has complicated it more
It sucks, man. Like, we shouldn't have to deal with this shit. Like, the off season, the winter meetings have been frozen by this fucking guy's decision. And that's the truth, Pete, and you know it. Like, a lot of teams are frozen. They won't make other little moves. They won't make other moves because they're waiting to see what the hell he'll do.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but I think what has complicated it is that there are so many teams in on Yamamoto, and it's not the same group of teams. And
but
so,
it's the same exact irritant, Pete. It's the same exact irritant. We're talking about a guy who's never thrown a single major league pitch ever. And just like the U.S. media did with Shohei Ohtani, showing his picture right next to the world champion Astros, they're doing the same thing with this guy. And it is just frozen the offseason, and it sucks. I hate it so much.
I don't disagree. And honestly, I do think that because there is a little bit of overlap, right? Supposedly the Cubs were interested in Yamamoto, but the report is that they're out. It's gotten too rich for them. But the Dodgers are interested in him. The Yankees are interested. The Mets are interested. But there are other teams that are interested in him. And it's not a perfect overlap with the teams that are the supposed finalists on Ohtani. And so I think that with the exception of the Dodgers, right, the teams that do overlap, like the Cubs did for a little while, weren't going to commit to either one until they knew what was happening with the other. And so it's in each player's interest to wait to see what happens. Unfortunately, it means that the winter meetings got all bollocksed up because when you normally might have seen moves, you might have seen trades, right? Normally, the Soto trade would have been the beginning of the onslaught, right? As soon as teams knew that they were out on Soto, then they start making their other moves. And that can't happen this year because, you know, there's been a lot of talk about all the moves that the Cubs are supposedly in on, right? Possibly trading for Glasnow or Bieber or Clace. I think I got his name pronounced right, from Cleveland. And that they might sign Rhys Hoskins or that they might sign Matt Chapman. All these names that the Cubs could potentially be in on. But they're not going to move until they know that they're definitely out on Ohtani.
And that's where a part of my beef comes in on all of this. Like, I understand, like, the phenomenon that he represents, right? It can be a two-way player.
Because he's going to change the fortunes of whichever team he signs with, both on the field and financially.
Financially, yeah, I agree. Can't argue with my ton of jerseys and everything is going to be sold. Like, a lot of tickets are going to be sold when he makes his debut with whatever new team he decides to re-up with. But that goes back to the irritant of the baseball fans of the other 29 teams that know they're probably not going to sign him.
Right.
So you've held hostage this whole off season because you cannot make a fucking choice. Like, dude, you know what two or three teams you're going to sign with. Just fucking make the decision. You already made a splash when you came over. Like, overhyped bullshit before you ever threw one pitch or swung at one pitch from a major league pitcher or threw one pitch at a major league hitter. And yeah, I've put the shoe in my mouth about him, about his accomplishments, but seriously, at this point, dude, just fucking sign with the team. I don't care who you sign with. Get it over with. Get the logjam out of the way. You've got enough. You've drawn enough attention to yourself. Are you happy now? And the other guy, Yamamoto, unproven, completely fucking unproven. You too. Sign with a fucking team. You know who you want to go to. You know you either want to go West Coast or big city. Get it over with. Sign, release the logjam. Let us get on with our fucking American off-season baseball lives and talk about this stuff. But you two are holding up the show. They are. And Shohei has always been about Shohei. It's all about him. And here we go again. It's all about him.
Yeah, but he wants his privacy, Ron.
Yeah, I'm fucking irritated by it. I don't care if he wants his privacy. Pick your team. Let everybody else get on with their lives. Is it so much to ask?
Ron's big bad.
No, I'm just irritated by it. It's bullshit. Like everybody, like really, somebody's going to pay him $50 million a year for what? To hit 28 home runs a year. That's what he's averaged since he's been in the big leagues. 28. Impressive number. But really, we're talking about that. We're talking about paying a guy to hit 28 home runs a year, $50 million, and he might pitch again. Right. But we don't know because he's had his second surgery, right?
And he definitely won't pitch next year.
Spending all of our energy and time talking about one fucking guy who Major League Baseball was desperate to make the next Ichiro. And here we are. He's holding up the whole offseason. You know what, Shohei? Fuck you.
Oh!
Pick a team. Get on with it. I'm over it, man. I'm over it.
That's going to be the title of this episode. And the best part of it is everybody's going to think that it's me or Elliot saying that.
No, Shohei, fuck you, dude. You've had enough attention. You got more than attention than you rated or deserved when you joined the league. Now you're getting more as a half-assed player. You're only a hitter next year. Nobody ever knows if you're going to pitch again. But the MLB hype machine, run by a bunch of fucking Gen Z people, want to make you God. Fine. Pick your team. Let everybody else get on with their life. I don't care who you fucking sign with. You're going to underdeliver on a $50 million contract. So if you like the Cubs, your organization wants to wait and not do anything until they figure out what he wants to do, fine. You fucking sit on your ass, let everybody else sign all the little people that you disvalue, and wait for him.
Well, I don't think that's what's happening with the Cubs. I just think that Jed Hoyer.
What have they done though since the offseason?
Jed Hoyer plays it notoriously close to the best.
He's so sneaky and sly.
No. He just doesn't.
What has he done since the offseason?
We don't know, Ron. We don't know. Your team signed a couple of cast-offs and backloaded Sonny Gray's contract because your team is going to fucking lose their TV contract, and you're accusing my team. Shit.
But seriously,
Ron, I think it's a little early to be judgmental of the offseason that Jed Hoyer has had. Nobody has signed anybody.
Cardinals have already won.
Clearly. Yeah. Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, and what's it? I don't know. Joey Bishop? Kyle Gibson. That's right. Kyle Gibson.
Joey Bishop. That's the episode title. It's Joey Bishop. Nobody knows who we're talking about.
That's right.
I don't want the Shohei title. I want Joey Bishop.
Bishop.
That's it. And no, but my point is everybody is kind of stalled and waiting for what this guy's going to do. And Pete, I don't think teams should wait. I think you should just go sign who you think you need to sign, assume you're a long shot, and make some moves that are going to improve you. Like, look, I'm not saying my salvo is waiting for Mozeliak. I'm not impressed with what he's done at all.
Hey, have you ever seen a GM, a POBO, so obviously tell a player through the media, you're gone. We're not keeping you. We are shopping your ass. I mean, look, no idea what you're talking about. No love lost for Tyler O'Neill. You know that. I can't stand the guy. But, oh, my God, John Mozeliak.
My love lost for Tyler O'Neill. You know me. My love loss ended years ago.
No, I know. And he should be traded. He's completely overrated. Right. But for a baseball executive.
Not according to his agent, though.
I know. No, according to his agent, he's a future Hall of Famer.
That's right.
I have never – I can't recall a baseball executive so obviously – I mean, Tyler O'Neill's being treated like shit right now. And if I was him, I would not – yeah, I know. I understand that. But still,
say it.
It's Scott Boras. there is no way I would now want to go. Like, one, he's reducing Tyler O'Neill. We already know Tyler O'Neill didn't have much value on the trade market already. He's now reducing it because he's made it so clear that he's getting rid of him. Like, why would any team offer anything other than a back end middle reliever to get him? You're going to get shit for him.
You'll get no argument from him.
And he's not coming. And at this point, he's not going to show up for spring training.
No,
I don't want to play for that team anymore.
You will get no argument from me on how the Cardinals have treated this outfield. And Pete, this has gone on since like 2018. Like this outfield logjam they've claimed for years. Like it's just gone to a level of just it's hard to articulate to anybody what the Cardinals have done with this outfield for years. Like they haven't been able to like outfield logjam. Like how many other teams around the league have you ever heard of that struggled with who to put in the outfield for 5 years?
Well, I don't know. The Reds seem to be trying to replicate that in the infield.
But point taken. Yes, that might be a case. But I mean, seriously though, like how many other organizations you've ever heard of have struggled with who to put in the outfield when they've had so many quote unquote like prospects and promising people? Like, has it not been like ridiculous? You can't solve this one thing that should be you think about it, defense, like 1 through 9. What do you think is probably the one you can solve if you were a GM taking over a new organization or starting a new franchise, right? Like what's the 1 through 9 position that should be relatively like the most easiest to solve?
Well, it should be left field.
Goddamn outfield, right?
Left field.
Hey, left field, center, and right. Like those three would what I would put first. Like catcher's a hard one to do.
Mm-hmm.
Shortstop, second base, hard. First base, like you can't underestimate the value of a first baseman that can actually field. Third base, yeah, you got to have a guy in the hot corner. Are you stressing out about a left and right fielder?
You are.
Well, we have for like 6 years. Yes. We can't figure it out. It's just, to me, it's just, I have no idea.
You know what?
How to explain this problem to anybody.
What I don't think helps is that the NL Central has been so weak for so long that
it's provided them air cover.
Yeah, he doesn't have to try very hard. Like if the Cardinals were in the AL East, Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado would be gone. They would have been traded for pieces because this team is not built to compete in any division other than the NL or AL Central. You put them in any of the other divisions in baseball and they're finishing at the bottom because you have two future Hall of Famers at the corners, but you have nothing else and you can't build a team around that.
For years, we heard that winning teams were built on run prevention, defense, pitching, right? And for some reason, they didn't draft to that. They didn't develop to that.
No, but they said it.
Hire a manager.
But they said it. That's what's important is they said it.
Right. Well, you know what? The last year it worked, I remember in my memory, was 2019, right? Like the first full year Mike Schultz took over. He was big on fundamentals, defense, pitching. Last year that they actually won on this philosophy of run prevention. Now their offense failed in the playoffs, and you have to have some. Not everybody can repeat what the Giants did from 2010, 2012, 2014, where you won on run prevention. You let the other team beat themselves. Basically, it's how the Giants won every World Series they won. But it didn't work for them. They couldn't pull that formula off. I don't know, man. We can get into their signings here in a minute. We haven't even gotten there yet. We haven't even gotten to the signings they did, but yeah.
Well, I mean, to concede the point, you're right. At least your team has signed some players. All that the Cubs have done so far is pick up one guy in the Rule 5 draft, lose 4 players in the Rule 5 draft.
They lost 4.
Yeah. They lost 4 guys in the minor league phase. 2 pitchers, 3 pitchers. I mean, obviously, they were guys who, well, we'll see what happens to it. But yeah, they lost 4 guys in the Rule 5. And none of them to the Padres. Which is stunning because the Padres are a team that should be loading back up on the Rule 5ers.
It should speak tons to the Cardinals system. They had nobody.
Yeah.
Taken in the Rule 5 draft.
Well, now, benefit of the doubt, perhaps they correctly identified which guys the rest of the league wouldn't be interested in and protected the ones that they would. That's the optimistic take.
No, I'm not going to go there. I don't think they're that slick. The
pessimistic take, they don't have anybody that the rest of the league wants.
I think that's more the truth. But anyway, so the Cardinals drafted some AAA arm from the Red Sox. So we'll see if that sticks. They had nobody else taken. I think they took a few minor leaguers. But yeah, the Cardinals all of a sudden have become the Padres, who have despised for years for pilfering. But did the Padres take anybody? Did you say that?
I don't know. AJ Preller may have just out of force of habit, like, oh shit, I just committed myself to another $500,000. Now I got to trade another player.
It started way before him. It's like in their blood, the culture. I don't know if they took anybody or not, but at least they didn't take anybody from St. Louis this year. So fine, I consider
that's a win.
That a win. It's a win for the season for the Cardinals. Now to get back on the Cardinals, they signed 2 veterans.
3.
Lance Lynn. I'll get to him in a second. Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson. I know they had not great numbers last year. You would have to think, though, that Lance Lynn, pitching for the White Sox early in the year, who were clearly, we criticized them, I think, a lot, right?
Yeah. You do know that he led the league in a statistical category last year.
Not a great one.
Home runs allowed.
Yeah.
Kyle Gibson also led the league in a statistical category last year.
And the Cardinals for years have been like, ground ball. We got the defense behind you. We got you covered. Instead,
well, you know what? If you want to take pressure off of your defense as a pitcher, the best way to do it is either to give up a bunch of home runs or to walk a bunch of guys. So you got those 2 covered.
And they don't have to do anything.
That's right.
Right. Point taken. The hope here, I think, with these 2 veterans is that you're buying innings, right? Yeah. Which, if you heard Mo early on, that's what they need. They need volume. They need a volume of innings, but whatever. But I guess the question will be, like, what kind of innings are you getting? Mm-hmm. Are you getting a barrage of home runs? That's remained to be seen. That's kind of the thing, right, that you're worried about. But they at least, if there's one thing I could say, he at least signed durability.
We think
that hasn't gone their way for a long time, but at least they think they've signed durability, innings eaters, and that was a lot of their problem last year. So, we can all hope that Lance Lynn gets a little surge of whatever, coming back to St. Louis. Kyle Gibson, being a veteran, will get something out of it. I don't know. It's all like just a wish. Sonny Gray comes to St. Louis. A little bit of a chip on his shoulder, evidently, but I don't have like a Chris Carpenter feel from him. Okay. They signed 3 durable guys that don't get injured a lot, that can at least pitch innings. They're probably in a little bit better position than they were last year. But Pete, I'd be lying to you if I said we've made it. I don't think so. I think they've got innings coverage a little bit better. But as far as durability, given the average staff age here, there's a lot to be worried about. And the fact that they said, we made it. We signed 3 starters. We're done. We've accomplished our off-season mission is a typical, I think, Mo Cardinals mantra. Like, we check the boxes.
Well, I will tell you 2 warning signs that I've seen from the Cardinals in the last couple of weeks that if I was a Cardinals fan, I would be panicked about is how backloaded Sonny Gray's contract is, because that tells me that they are very worried about losing the RSN and about revenue, which would terrify me as a fan, because it means you're right. These could very well be their 3 big offseason signings, and Mo may be closing the book. And all you're going to see from this point forward is trades, because he may be under a mandate from DeWitt. We cannot push this year. Do your best with what we have. Let's win the division and then lose in the playoffs, because we cannot spend. So that would scare me if I was a Cardinals fan. And the second thing, seems to me Ollie Marmol has 1 more season to get it turned around, because there's a future Hall of Famer that's going to be sitting next to him in the dugout from time to time, who is clearly being groomed to take over whenever Mo feels that that the DeWitts are asking, what the hell are you doing around here?
Well, it's one I was sitting on a little bit. I think that's likely to happen. Actually, I mean, when you're able to convince him to come back in any capacity, like special advisor,
2.
like, how many times have we heard that?
Special advisor to the president of baseball operations. He's your Dwight Schrute.
So we go into 2024 with a lame duck manager who they're not going to extend. Expect improvement, and if it doesn't happen, which
it won't,
is a long shot. Yep.
And apparently, right now, I mean, if you were to look at it, the team that has improved the most in the NL Central this offseason, can't believe I'm going to say this, is Cincinnati Reds.
It is unbelievable.
It's early December. Yes. There's a lot of time for stuff to shake out.
There's a lot of time because of Shohei.
Right.
The
report, look, the word is that it's going to be announced by Sunday, that apparently he's going to make his decision and announce it by this weekend. And I don't know if you've seen the latest developments, but apparently the Cubs are back in as a finalist now.
Well, regardless of how it goes, I hope he's gracious enough to make his decision to unclog the logjam. Yeah.
I have a feeling that once his decision is announced, Yamamoto will be hot on the heels, right? Because with the exception of the Dodgers would be the one exception where you could potentially see them sign both. If any other team gets Ohtani other than the Dodgers, you're going to see every other team that was a finalist pivot quickly, make their last and final offers to Yamamoto, and then I think his decision comes quickly. Because I think you're right. He kind of knows where he wants to be. And so now it's just going to be how much over $300 million can he push it? Dude's going to get, you're absolutely right. Dude's going to get $30 million a year. Plus, don't forget how much that posting fee is going to cost the team. He's going to get $30 million a year, and he's never thrown a pitch in Major League Baseball. But he's only 25 years old.
Yeah. All right. Never faced Anthony Rizzo, Aaron Judge,
Juan
any
Soto.
guys like that. Right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Honestly, I don't think, you hold out hope. I don't think that Ohtani's going to end up at 1060 West Addison. Right? I think that's a pipe dream, and I think that any Cubs fans who still think that it's a possibility are just deluding themselves, and they're going to be disappointed.
That's why I think they should be moving on other things now, man.
I have a feeling that my guess is that they have stuff that's lined up, and it could very well be their trade partners who are holding out. Because the Cubs have sort of set things up expecting that they're not going to get him. And somebody like, say, the Rays, right? They're sitting on Tyler Glasnow, and they may have the framework of a deal with the Cubs in. But can they possibly get more out of the Cubs if they do get Ohtani? Because the Cubs know that they still need to get a pitcher, even though Ohtani is one. He's not going to start for him next year. Or if it's not the Cubs, right, but another team who's thinking about a pitcher, maybe they could extract a little more or get that team to up their offer so that they can get a little bit more out of the Cubs. I have a feeling that specifically with Jed Hoyer and the Cubs, that it may be as much their trade partners being willing to wait it out to see if they can possibly get more out of the deal. Which sucks because you're right. We're exactly where we are. Nothing's happening.
Everything's held hostage by a couple guys.
And right? You know what doesn't help is that this is a pretty weak free agent class. And so everybody is hoping, well, not everybody, but the teams that can afford it are hoping that they land one of these big names because the fall off from there is pretty steep. That's why the Reds were able to sign Jeimer Candelario, is because nobody else wants to pay him $15 million a year.
Candelario, what a win! All right, well, we didn't have Elliot join us tonight, which is fine, I guess.
Unsurprising.
Hope he's having fun. Brothers Restaurant, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I know. He didn't even tell us the name of the restaurant. It's not like it's very far from me. You would think that he would want to tell us the name of the restaurant. So, one, we could promote it here. And two, so that I would go out and eat there, but apparently not.
All right, fine.
Yeah, whatever, Elliot. Dick.
Whatever, dude. We haven't fired him yet from the show.
Not this year. Are you suggesting maybe we should?
I think we have to have that tough conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We can consider it.
Anyway. All right. Well, uplifting show.
It has
Great
been.
News. It's been such a fun off season so far.
It has.
Held hostage by, Shohei and his, not sure former teammate or anything, but, here we are waiting to see what happens because of one man's decision, because he's the most important person in the world. So.
Well, I mean, he kind of is to baseball right now.
Fuck him. And fuck you guys. We'll talk to you next. This has been the worst show we've ever done.
No, it's not. The worst show is what? Season 1, episode 6, was it? The one that you never posted?
1.
Well, episode 1 wasn't
I deleted every one of those. Yeah, they're all bad. All right.
You don't want me to take it out?
Sorry. I did skip over that. Go ahead.
You did.
Take us out.
Si vous avez apprécié cet épisode, n'oubliez pas de laisser un commentaire et de vous abonner. Et si vous souhaitez contribuer à faire passer le message, donnez-nous une évaluation 5 étoiles et dites à vos amis de faire du même. Nous sommes disponibles sur Apple Podcasts, Spotify et partout où vous écoutez des podcasts. Nous diffusons également occasionnellement en direct sur Rumble, Facebook et YouTube. Vous pouvez trouver Ron sur X. I
think Pete thinks that people will be impressed with the fact that he can speak French. But here's the problem. Like, nobody cares. And we already lost a lot of people early on. He's going to do it at the end. Fine. Love y'all. We'll talk to you again next week. Love y'all so much. Bye-bye.